listening, and frankly, no one cared. She continued to encourage me. She said I couldn't give up because there were too many people counting on it, my kids included. They were watching. People didn't see the struggles. People didn't see the sacrifices that we made to be able to get to where we are today. But it proved to them that nothing comes easy. It takes hard work and dedication. It takes faith when you're at your lowest points. I want them to experience what God is doing. I want them to see it. God has always been good to me. But at the end of the day, I'm a family man.
This team is why we practice and why we're going to training for this. Okay, we see this all the time. Training op opportunity, that was interesting. Just to give a little more, or any ideas of what was going on in that situation. I walked into a hotel to do some marketing, and I advertised a couple cards and just introduced ourselves to the area. And there was a young lady ended up having a kind of seizure, sort of a panic attack situation, and we handled it, and it was okay, and she was breathing down before it was bad, you know, but panicking in that situation doesn't help anybody that's panicking. We see a lot of these things, so I just want to encourage you that with the training that we're doing and we push on you guys so hard, it's for these kind of things. We see a lot of this stuff. When you're driving 60,000 miles a year, you're going to see a car accident, you're going to see some stuff like that. And you need to not just drive past it. You need to know that out of 100 people that are in the area, maybe, or zero, it don't matter, nobody probably called 911. Because everybody thinks everybody else did. Always call. It's better to flood the system with phone calls and get the information out there to the people that are more trained to take care of that than to not call it off. It's so easy to just look at a nasty wreck and then keep on driving like you just saw something bad, but you don't do anything about it. We do something about it. And so thank you for being willing to be a part of the team and deal with those situations, because a lot of the times you're the one that saves that life. And it's an amazing thing, but it's humbling too, because you're chosen and selected by God to be in that situation at that time, to deal with that situation. To give you another example of some of the things that we see doing this job, especially from a spiritual perspective, or a spiritual example. One of them is I was driving with some customers in the car on the interstate, and we saw the aftermath of what was a fifth wheel trailer being towed by an SUV that had flipped and was completely destroyed. Like an explosion, just like a half a mile of liver, just destroyed this vehicle. And from the looks of it, and from experience, you could tell that the people were also not going to be doing okay. Had they been ejected, they would have been killed. Had they been in a vehicle, they would have been killed. It was just not a survivable wreck. So I prayed on the way away from that wreck. After driving past a mile-long line with cars, we were stopped to observe this wreck. Some people on the scene and all this, but I called anyway after I prayed. And again, with passengers in the car, and we flipped around and went back to the scene. And I thought I was going to walk up on a wreck and see something I wasn't going to be able to unsee. I was worried about that, but let me pause you for a second, back up. What about this calling 911 thing? Well, I called it in. It turns out I was the only one that called. There was hundreds of people, if not 1,000 people, not kidding at all, 1,000 people, none of them called. I got back to the scene after praying, or got to the scene after praying, and approached the wreck, and I was asking the folks that were sitting next to it, hey, did somebody get ejected? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. It was them. They were the ones in the vehicle, unharmed, not a scratch, just sitting next to the car like, what? I don't know, we're just here now. It was us. I'm like, okay. Well, God rewound time, because he can do that. Plucked them out of that situation and placed them gently and carefully and safely by their vehicle that was demolished beyond words. Prayer works. Calling things in works. It helps. Make sure you're the one that calls in. If there's 1,000 people that are all calling in at the one time, it's going to mess with the system a little, but at least the information's there. I mean, we don't live in a big enough city to where there's that kind of stuff happening 10 times at one time all over the city. You know, not wrecks like that anyway. So just be aware of those things. I mean, you're working for a hidden ministry. You're working as a first responder that doesn't get paid for it. You're a volunteer. You drive 60,000 miles a year. You help people with their groceries. You help little old ladies get into the car. You help folks that have just had an issue or an accident get transported medically from one place to another, from one hospital or one clinic to the next. You're taking somebody to crisis care or to detox, or you're getting somebody out of the middle of the street that's passed out from whatever reason. These things happen all the time. And that's why I do this job. Because we're going to see 1,000 people a month per person for every full-time worker. There's 1,000 people we see. 900 of them are having a bad day. If you need to afford a taxi, and if you don't have a car, and you can probably not very easily afford a taxi, especially if you're on your way to pay a bill or a medical thing or a court thing or whatever's going on. I mean, it's not easy for folks out there. We have an opportunity to lift up spirits. I can't tell you how many times I've stopped somebody from wanting to kill themselves in this car. Not kill themselves in the car, but while in this car, had that conversation and gave people hope. People dealing with extreme loss. We're living in a city with about 100,000 people. 20,000 of them are homeless. Why? Because there's a lot of reasons why, but a lot of it, there's not even enough housing for people to live here, and not enough money for them to get out. They're stuck. You know, we see all these hobos on the street. Well, I was one of them. We're urban outdoorsmen. We're urban outdoorsmen. We're not hobos, okay? I was making some poor choices, and even if I hadn't, I was living in a really cruddy situation, and I didn't have a lot of choices. But life is about choices, and we have an opportunity to show people by example what a life can look like when we're making better choices. God is not going to let you be successful if you're making bad choices and you know it's wrong. He won't. He'll let you have a little success. He'll let you survive. But he's not going to let you thrive. And what we want to see is the community thrive. We want to see the drivers thrive. We want to see just a revival in the city of what it is to be kind and spiritually focused and empowered and encouraged and inspired to do something better with your life. Because as a former junkie, high school dropout, divorced, single dad, living some not great lifestyles throughout the path that I took. Not easy, man. I mean, it's great now that I have what I have. I mean, things are wonderful. I'm getting a master's degree, and I have a book contract and a business to operate, and my daughter back in my life. It's wonderful. But it wasn't going to happen until I started making better choices, and it started with putting God first. So that's my testimony, and I hope that I can radically revolutionize your life, and if nothing else, give you a little bit of encouragement to maybe try it out.